Earthquakes often happen in series, don't they? So have we seen the worst, or could there be more to come?
I'd be surprised if there was a worse earthquake in this region. Certainly, other earthquakes could occur around the edge of the Pacific. We have no information that will allow us to predict an earthquake, but this is a very serious earthquake, and I think it stands alone for Japan.
This is indeed a very serious earthquake, but this is a region accustomed to such environmental activity. It is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, of volcanoes and faults. So how prepared are places which lie in this region?
As you say, this is the 8th magnitude 8 or greater earthquake that's been known to occur in this part of Japan since about 1891. That's roughly one every 20 odd years. So people are fairly well prepared, and I think after the 1923 earthquake, the Japanese government put a lot of money and a lot of people into studying earthquakes, so they're better prepared than most. This earthquake is probably about their design earthquake, and they've been looking forward to this earthquake for quite a long time now. Not looking forward to it in the sense that they can't wait for it to happen, but at least designing buildings and systems and structures to withstand the earthquake. And I think they've done that reasonably well. I think you'll find the tsunami has done most of the damage, and at the moment there's no way to put out a warning of a tsunami when they occur so close to the coast. The technology isn't up to it, and I think they've had a lot of trouble with their mobile phone systems. So at the moment, I think the best people can do is, if they feel a strong earthquake like this, they ought to move to at least 10 metres above high water mark and save themselves.
Well, as we've been saying, this is an 8.9 magnitude earthquake, the biggest, we think, in Japan's history, well, certainly since records began. And we were just seeing some of those very dramatic pictures that have come out of the country. There are supermarkets in disarray. You mentioned that the mobile phone network closing down. How prepared are people there, and how common are earthquakes like this one in the region?
Well, as you said, it's the biggest that's known since 1890, since seismographs were invented, and incidentally they were invented in Japan, so they have a long history of recording earthquakes. Well, what's critical about this earthquake is that the fault that it occurred on, the edge of the Pacific plate that broke and ruptured and thrust itself about 10 metres northern Honshu, was about 500 kilometres long. So this is a huge section of the Pacific plate boundary that's broken off. And that's what gave rise to the big tsunami. So the tsunami, only 100k east of Sendai, didn't take any time to reach there. It's a big earthquake.
Now, it's 7 years since the Asian tsunami tragedy. How much better are people in the region at predicting these disasters and minimising their impact?
Well, that's a good question, and I think the answer to it, you would get a different answer from different seismologists, I think. We've certainly learned about earthquakes. We know where they happen. We know that there will be large earthquakes right around the Pacific Rim, as you called it, the plate boundary. The question is, when will an earthquake of a particular size happen? And I think we're no closer to that than we were 100 years ago, to be quite honest. And it's probably an intractable question. And I think we shouldn't focus on trying to predict them. Instead, we should focus, as the Japanese and the North Americans have done so successfully, is designing to withstand the earthquake. It's a different approach, I guess. And so rather than predict the earthquake, try and design systems so that they don't fail when the earthquake happens.
OK, joining us live from Canberra, that was Kevin McHugh, Director of the Australian Seismological Centre. Many thanks for speaking to us.